Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts, and we're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, even after we get our asses kicked and watch our dreams die.
There's only one thing I'm really focused on right now, and that is a win on Thursday night.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
football gods, please.
Today on the show, it was a nightmare of a homecoming for the Raiders as they returned to Allegiant Stadium and lost to the Indianapolis Colts 44-27.
Ouch.
After the game, defensive coordinator Paul Guenther was fired. Yes! So now, Rod Marinelli takes over as interim defensive coordinator for the last 3 games of the season. And on next week's show, right before Christmas, we will be giving away the second of 2 customized Raider jerseys. If you haven't already registered to win, make sure you do it soon. We'd love to make your Christmas silver and black and help you ring in the new year with your own personalized Raiders jersey.
We would love to hear from you, Raider Nation, so here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Just search the Only Nation podcast and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on all your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. Also, check out our website at onlynationpod.com. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get some free Raider merch sent out to you. If you haven't done it already, make sure you do it before next week's show, so you will be eligible to win a Raiders jersey custom made by the Raider Image.
On to our first segment.
Here's the latest Raider news.
On Sunday at Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders gave up over 40 points for the 3rd time this season. With the 44-27 defeat, the Raiders see their total record fall to 7-6, and the team's playoff hopes are now on life support. They will need to win out for the remainder of the season and hope for a little bit of help also. But this week now is basically a single elimination game for the Raiders.
Man, I was so excited. I thought we were going to win, but man, we came out and laid another egg. It's tough to watch this, this game happen the way it happened. Man, we were all kind of just deflated. I mean, I don't know. It led to Guenther getting fired. I know a lot of people are happy about that, but it just seems like that might be a mistake now, especially now with all the guys that are going to be out. So we'll see. That was a tough loss, though.
Things seem to be unraveling. I was really hopeful when things were fairly close toward the half, but then just like the Buccaneers game, things got really out of control and they went down south quick, fast, and in a hurry, as Q would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure did. It's just really deflating to, be a Raiders fan with another collapse.
Well, at this point, you got to
old.
play for some pride, right? You want to definitely win at least one more and end, the season 500, right? That's the very worst that we want, right? But we can still, it'd be nice to see this team show that, hey, maybe it was just a scheme. We are better players because we need to see that from these guys. We don't want to go into the offseason not knowing what we got. You know what I mean? So hopefully, Marinelli turns this around and we can win. I don't know. That was just, it's tough. It's tough. But
yeah, well, I'd say definitely the minimum 500 season. I'd really like to have a winning season, even if we don't go to the playoffs. If we can get to 9-7, I would be feeling much better about that.
At this stage of the game, I would agree with you. I was hoping for 10-6 and projected that in the off season, but I would settle for 9-7 right now and call that a better season than last year. Obviously, step up.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to win 3 in a row. Let's try that at least, right? Just, I would think that's what Gruden's trying to motivate these guys. Like, hey, we can only do what we can do, and what we have to do is win all these games and see what happens. So hopefully they respond to that and go 10-6.
Well, Guenther's defense has struggled all season and is ranked near the bottom in every defensive category in the league. Against the Colts, the Las Vegas defense yielded 456 yards, including 212 on the ground. The Raiders' defense allowed Indianapolis to convert on 73% of its third downs and only made the Colts punt one time all day.
Oh, my God.
You are not going to win games that way.
Now, you want your offense to convert 73 times, but not your defense.
I saw somebody on Twitter posted that for the Raiders on offense, it's 3rd and Renfro, and on defense, it's 3rd and oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long. You're just like, oh, God, here we go. Oh, no, here we go again. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm just glad. I think it was Mark Davis that put his foot down and said, get rid of Guenther now.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a little too close to the Thursday night game. I think that was a mistake, honestly. I mean, let him go. If you were going to let him go, if you knew that at any point you might let him go during the bye week way back then, But, man, right before the Thursday night game, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Gruden was going to hold off till the end of the season, though I do believe Gruden would have fired him then. But I think Mark Davis was like, no, you're not going to embarrass me in my house like that again. You're gone.
Sources say there was a lot of yelling and infighting going on between the two of them throughout the game. Not saying that that's what caused the firing, but it may have contributed.
Yeah, I think Gruden was just really frustrated with the way the defense was performing, especially the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 27-20 going into the fourth quarter, and just boom, all of a sudden. It's every time in the fourth quarter. Every time.
Yeah.
Just collapse.
Okay, with the short turnaround, the Raiders will now place the defense in the hands of veteran coach Rod Marinelli and hope that he can infuse some life and some energy into a defense that has hit bottom and is now battling not just to make the playoffs, but to salvage a winning record on the season.
Anything.
Please.
Just
please.
Anything. Just step up and do it.
Yeah.
Man, but it's concerning, right? Because, we had much more production out of the defensive line last year. And Marinelli, was supposed to be this guy that could teach these guys how to do it better. They have not done it better. Now he's in control of the whole unit. Oh, man.
He might be someone who's a better coordinator than a position coach, though.
Well,
Maybe.
We'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping that the players will step up and feel bad about what happened to Guenther and respond to Marinelli and at least step up just for the Charger game. I'm not even worried about the Dolphins and Broncos right now. Let's just take care of business this week.
Yeah, one day at a time. Yeah. One game at a time.
Ooh, and the Chargers, man. Oh, it's going to be tough. All right. Derek Carr went 31 for 45 for 316 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. But he did have 2 big interceptions. One was in the end zone to kill a drive, and the other was a pick six off a tipped pass to Jalen Richard. But the offensive line kept him upright and gave up no sacks on the day. Hey, but those 2 interceptions, I mean, I know. I'm a Derek Carr apologist, whatever. But, come on, that guy made a play, a one-handed interception. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that our defense has to do. Those are the kind of plays you got to make if you want to go to the playoffs, right? And then, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, the tip for Jalen Richard. Come on. Instead of us making that play, the defense made the play. You know what I mean? A short, simple check down turned into points for the defense.
The interception in the end zone, Carr probably could have thrown a better pass, but you've got to credit the defender on that. That was an unbelievably awesome play.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was a great play. Yeah, great play. And then the Renfro fumble. Those are the kind of mistakes that we're making, that we're just a young team. You know what I mean? Just too young to overcome those kind of mistakes. Oh.
And as dependable as Renfro is, when he puts the ball on the ground, you have to think, gosh, what else can go wrong?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you knew it was coming at some point. He was going to fumble the ball. But, yeah, the timing is terrible for sure.
Well, he got it out of his system, so now we're good.
Yeah, let's hope so. All right, Nelson Aguilar had 5 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown, and Darren Waller had 7 catches for 75 yards and led the Raiders receivers. Foster Moreau also had 1 catch for 47 yards and a touchdown. Hey, that was a nice little open field juke you put on that guy, too.
It was so nice to see Moreau get back into the offense, even though it was just for 1 play.
I would love to see his number called a lot more.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I'm really glad that we have Witten, that he has been a great mentor to those in the tight end room, but I don't like that he's gotten Moreau's snaps.
But don't think that will happen next year.
Moreau was coming off of that knee, right? Remember we were talking early, or in the preseason, that we weren't sure if he was going to be able to come back from that knee injury. So, but it looks like he's back. So yeah, I don't think Witten's going to get as many touches next year at all.
Yeah.
All right, on defense, Jonathan Abram led the team in tackles with 14, 7 of them solo tackles. Now, Nicholas Morrow was next with 8 tackles, 5 of them solo, and Arden Key had 1 quarterback hit. But there were no sacks on the day, and the Raiders defense was not able to generate any turnovers. And that's the key. If we're not, I don't think we're going to be able to stop the Chargers per se, right? But if we can just get a few turnovers, we got a shot in this game, I believe. We got to learn how to win at home, though. We got to learn how to win at home. What is up with that? How are we so good on the road, and so terrible at home? Or semi-good on the road?
That's true. Some of it's the luck of the draw with who we've had, but then we beat New Orleans at home. So you would think if we have that tough game under our belt, we should be able to get the others, but it's just not worked out so well.
Right.
Yeah. We got to learn to protect our house, though. Get up for our house. This is our house. We're at home. They're the ones that's supposed to be traveling. Like, come on. They got to learn how to win at home.
You lose to Buffalo, they're playoff bound. You lose to Tampa Bay, they're probably playoff bound. And you lose at home to Kansas City, who is arguably one of the best, if not the best team in the league. So there's 3 right there that you can excuse, if anything else. But that's just 3.
And the Colts are a good team.
Yeah, they are a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team, but it was the way we lost. If we would have gone down the way that we had gone down to the Chiefs, it would be completely different. But the way we lost, the score that we lost by, just unacceptable. And I'm glad Guenther's gone, and I'm excited to see what some of these players that have been playing out of position are going to look like now. And I'd really be interested in seeing how Littleton and Kwiatkowski respond.
Yeah. Now, Marinelli, he runs the 4-3, right? He doesn't do the hybrid 4-3-3-4 or anything like that.
He has run the 4-3, but I don't know. Now, it'd be interesting to see what changes can be made on a short turnaround week. I doubt they could totally gut the 4-3 and go to a 3-4. I just don't think there's enough time to do that. But they could certainly put some different players in different places and maybe get some blitzes here and there, some offset looks. It'd be interesting to see what he puts together on a short turnaround time in a short week.
Right now, I think that's going to be more vanilla. You know what I mean? Or Manila. It's going to be all basic. I would like to see us make a bold move. I think, we talked about in the past, that we have a 4-3 personnel, but I think that we can make a 3-4 move. Okay, I guess we could talk about that in the offseason, but I'm curious, because Arden Key when they took his hand out of the dirt, right, in Kansas City and put him to spy Patrick Mahomes, to me, that was that's when the thought first hit my mind, why couldn't we do a 4-3, especially when Tanner Muse comes back, right? So think about it. You'd have Muse, Morrow, Littleton, and Kwiatkowski with Cleveland Farrell, right, who can already play the inside and the outside. So you just need that nasty nose tackle, which means we probably wouldn't re-sign Hurst. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
When we get to the offseason, I will have some definite opinions on where we need to go. But we'll wait until 2021 for that.
Right.
All right, now here's a pretty disturbing stat. Through last Sunday's games, here are the number of targets for the top 4 receivers taken in the 2020 draft. Justin Jefferson, who just might be Rookie of the Year with Minnesota, leads with 92. CeeDee Lamb is right behind him with 91. Jerry Jeudy has 86. And the first wide receiver taken, Henry Ruggs III, has only 38. 38. That's less than half of any of the 3 guys ahead of him for the top receiver taken in the draft. Unbelievable.
But he missed, 2 games, right? Or was it 3 games early in the start of the season?
It was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But even though he's gotten so few looks, I don't think he's been getting as open as he could be.
Yeah, they have been talking about how he's having a hard time beating the press.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the speed, but the separation is the issue. And that was one of the reasons why I really wanted them to select Jerry Jeudy, because he was really good at separating from the defenders. Now, Henry Ruggs is who we have, so we need to make the best use of the asset we have, not lament over the one that got away. So I think there's a way to make this work. We just need to make it work.
Well, don't forget that Derek Carr distributes the ball. He's always hitting 8 to 11 receivers a game. So there's, a lot of the other wide receivers are getting the ball too. So he's not going to get as many targets just because that's how Derek Carr operates his offense. He can make reads, Heidi.
He has done better about it this year. He really has. It's been noticeable.
All right, cool.
He's played markedly better. Now, the Raiders went into the game against the Colts shorthanded on defense due to the loss of both Damon Arnett and Jeff Heath to concussions. But things continue to get worse. Clete Ferrell was ruled out in the second half after a shoulder injury, and both Jonathan Abram and Nicholas Morrow were evaluated for concussions late in the game. Now, remember, those were the top two tacklers in the game, and then they went out for concussions late in the game.
Now we're looking at them missing this game. All of those guys.
Yeah, we've lost like half our starters on defense.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we then found out late Tuesday that wide receiver Henry Ruggs, who we just spoke about, has been placed on the COVID-19 list, so he's going to miss the game Thursday night. Now, in other roster moves, Vic Beasley was activated from the practice squad. Recently waived Marcel Aitman was restored to the practice squad, and defensive end Tack McKinley has been designated for return, although it's doubtful if he's actually going to see the field at all for the remainder of the season.
That sounds like there's no hope on the defensive side of the ball this Thursday night.
It's looking pretty bleak.
You never know. They could be fired up.
They could be. This could be one of those games where they all step up and play out of their minds, and all it takes is a couple of turnovers and a couple of stops, and they could be right in this thing.
Please, football gods. Let's go 10-6, Raiders. Come on. Keep fighting. That's what I want to see right now the most. I want to see this team keep fighting. Do what you can do, which is just win these next 3 games, and then end the season at 10-6. Feel good about yourself and realize that, you got to be able to beat the teams that are in the playoff hunt. You know what I mean? If you can get the 10-6, you got to feel good as far as building on top of that. And that should help with the recruitment too in the free agency.
Yeah, if we win out, I'll be content.
Yeah.
All right, well, Homer, that kind of leads us into our question. So we're asking everybody now, do we still make the playoffs? What do you think?
No, I don't. I mean, no, because it's all we need to win them. We need to win out, and then we need Minnesota to lose one, right? And then there's
Baltimore.
a bunch of other ones. Oh, yeah, Baltimore, okay. And then, so there's a bunch of other little avenues, but I just don't see it happening. That's way too many, avenues for things to go right for us to get in. Let's just win and keep our fingers crossed.
Now, I'm going to remain optimistic at least for one more week. So let's take on the Chargers. Let's win this game, and let's go to 8-6. And then I'll continue with the optimism until we lose. I'm going to still hang on to that little glimmer of hope that we can make the playoffs. Now, again, I know it's going to require some help, but I'm going to drink that optimist Kool-Aid week to week. And until we lose, I'm going to still hang on to that faint glimmer of hope that we're going to make the playoffs this year.
That a way to be, T3.
And my answer is playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk to me about playoffs. Playoffs?
Channeling her inner Jim Mora. There we go.
Oh, man.
I don't think we make the playoffs.
I'm right there with you.
I think it is asking too much for Baltimore to lose a game, and I just don't see us winning out the entire rest of the season.
I've got my fingers crossed for winning out. I'd love to see us go 10-6, beat these teams that don't have, well, I guess the Dolphins have a winning record, but God, just beat these teams, man. Come on, man. 10-6. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I just want to get to 8 wins so we can go back to our Tom Cable and say, well, we're not losers anymore.
Hey, I would like to say that too.
All right, T3, why don't you give us another Heidi's High Five?
And now it's time for another Heidi's High Five.
right, this week's version of Heidi's High Five. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Marinelli needs to go at the end of the year. It's time to infuse some fresh talent on the defensive side of the ball, on the sidelines, as well as on the field. Number 2, I know that one thing that was frustrating to Paul Guenther is the fact that the Raiders last year spent $52 million more on offense than on defense. Now, they are going to have to be really smart as to who they target in free agency, trade for, and potentially draft. All these things are going to be critical toward the Raiders' staying power on the field. Number 3, speaking of the defense, taking bad angles and allowing big scoring plays are often more about mental lapses than not being physically gifted enough. So too are foolish penalties at inopportune times. This goes much deeper than a weekly injury report. I credit this to the Las Vegas Review-Journal for this bit of information. Number 4, Justin Herbert has got to be licking his chops right now. With his Chargers coming off a win against Atlanta, yes, the same team that destroyed the Raiders a couple of weeks ago, let's see how much they changed their game plan against a reeling Las Vegas Raiders defense. And number 5, I know we've said it before, and we've said it a lot, but it all comes down to this. Just win, baby, and a signal of just how much improvement this team can make between now and the end of the season. Do they rally behind Gruden and Marinelli, or do they fold up their tents like they did in 2019? We need answers. And that is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
Marinelli, gone at the end of the year. So what about Wade Phillips?
I like Wade. I'm just a little concerned about his age. We need somebody younger, somebody who knows what they're doing, but can relate to the players. But that being said, if we ended up with Wade, I wouldn't be disappointed.
I will say this. I don't think that Gruden is going to settle for anyone, maybe other than Raheem Morris, who has been a head coach before. He has got too strong a personality, and I don't think he's going to allow someone to come in who already has a head coaching pedigree, except for maybe Raheem Morris. I think he's going to bring in somebody young, and when he talked about a new voice, I think that's exactly what he meant, a new voice coming to this team.
I'd love to have Morris. Love it.
But I think he's going to get offered a head coaching job. He's probably going to stay there in Atlanta.
He should. If they're smart, they'll keep him.
I like the idea of Wade Phillips because, like I said, I think that we do have the talent for a 3-4. And he did really well with the Rams, and that was not that long ago. You know what I mean? And I think that, his experience, I think that in his play calling ability, I think that he'll be able to make the adjustments in the second half that we need to be able to make, and he'll be able to put these players in position. And like I said, with Tanner Muse coming back next year, I like that 3-4 look right there, And then I think Crosby would be all right in a 3-4 also. And then Farrell, he's been playing inside and out. I don't know. Wade Phillips, I'd like to see that. But, yeah, Marinelli probably needs to go.
The 3-4 is going to require you to have a stud, absolute stud at the nose. And the only way we're going to get that, unless we pick one up during free agency, is to spend the number 1 draft pick in the first round of the draft on that. And I've got some definite ideas once we get into the offseason. But, again, I'll wait until 2021. But in order to go to a 3-4, you have to have that stud nose tackle, which we do not have.
Yeah, but we do got some young talent. We do have, I know Guenther was saying that he's upset that, they only spent $52 million less on the defense, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, he's got a lot of, young talent, like Trayvon Mullen is an up-and-coming cornerback. Nick Witkowski he's a pretty good thumper, you know what I mean? The Marinelli failed him on the defensive line. But, I think Abrams is going to be able to bounce back. I've seen him I know his scores are low, but I think that you've seen him make enough, open field tackles and big hits that if he can settle it down, he'll be fine.
The Raiders do have some good players on defense, good young talent. I'm not arguing that point. But when Marinelli was with Tampa Bay, he didn't have just good players on defense. He had game changers on defense, all up and down the line. He had game changers on the defensive line. He had game changers at the linebacker position and in the defensive backfield, all across the board. The Raiders have some good young talent, but they do not have any alpha dogs right now on that defense.
What happened to the optimism?
I think that alpha dog could be Littleton.
He could be.
I think it's Kwiatkowski.
It could be both. And as much as I like Abrams' passion, he's definitely not the leader. And he needs to quit making boneheaded penalties. Really.
Yeah.
He won't make any this week.
That's true. It'll be even an improvement for him. All right, predictions for the Chargers game, Homer?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and beg the football gods for us to win 38-35. Please, football gods, please. Let's get this win against our division rival, have our 8 wins, and know that we're going to be 500 or better. So, 38-35, Raiders.
Fingers crossed. I'm going to go 28-17 Chargers.
All right, now up to this point, I've been an optimist, and I hope they prove me wrong, but I don't see a lot of life left. So I'm going with Chargers 30-14, and I'll be happy to eat the crow. I'll even barbecue it up myself, and I'll eat it during the podcast if we are winners.
We'll split it. I like my wings spicy.
Got it.
Me too. All right, Raider Nation, give us a call and tell us how you like your wings. You can call us at 904-701-8667. You can leave us a voicemail or a text message at that number or send a message via social media, and we'll share your thoughts.
Right, and this week we had a voicemail from a new caller.
Hey, I'm a new caller, yeah. And I go by the name of Silver, Macho Savage, yeah. And I don't have a number I can be reached at, yeah. Because I come from another planet, yeah. Like Otis Sistrunk from the University of Mars, yeah. But I'm not in a good place right now. And the entire Raider Nation is in chaos. But let me tell you something, Heidi and Raider Homer and T3. And you better listen, yeah. Better days are ahead. And let me just say that the Chargers better watch out. Because the madness is coming. The Death Star is still being completed. And Raider Nation is for life, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dig it.
All right, thank you, Silver, Macho, Savage. And you're right, better days are ahead. Better days are ahead.
We did get a last minute, and this is not even on the script, but during the course of this recording, I got a text message from Bourbon Raider. And he says, hey, T3, I got the jersey, and it's awesome. I plan on wearing it for our game tomorrow, which will be Thursday, so I'll be sure to post up some pics. So be sure to look out for some pics of the new jersey from Bourbon Raider.
Awesome. Congratulations. See what happens when you give us a call, listeners?
You get your own jersey for free.
Oh, yeah.
Name, address, phone number. Get them to us. You're in the drawing.
Can you dig it? Yeah.
Was that you on the call?
He wishes. All right, T3, let's let Homer know something that he didn't already know.
Hey Homer, did you know?
All right. In this week's version of Homer Did You Know, I have to issue both an apology and a correction. 2 weeks ago, I came onto the podcast and I told you a story about a situation at halftime in a playoff game between the New York Jets and the LA Raiders back in the 80s. And I said that that was the last time the Raiders and Jets had squared off against each other in the playoffs. Well, if you're a close follower of Raiders history, you know that is incorrect. And the last time the Raiders faced the Jets in the playoffs was in January of 2003, just 2 weeks before the Raiders met John Gruden and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. But we won't talk about that game. However, in the playoff game against the Jets in 2003, Tim Brown became just the third wide receiver in NFL history to collect 1,000 receptions, joining his then teammate Jerry Rice and also Chris Carter on that famed high ground. The Raiders beat the Jets that day 26-20, but what is interesting to note is that despite achieving that mark, Tim Brown was actually overshadowed that day by another Raiders wide receiver, Jerry Porter. Porter had 12 receptions on the day, including a 50-yard reception that set up the game-breaking touchdown, and it happened back on January 12th, 2003. That is this week's version of Homer Did You Know?
Oh, man. We should have thought about that, dude. I mean, I remember that game. we had a nice little rivalry going on with the Jets back then. I think we had played them a couple of times within 3 years or whatever. I couldn't stand Chad Pennington. And I think it's when they had Curtis Martin too, right? Oh God.
My Martian.
But we were in the playoffs that year.
Yes.
Yes, we were.
But let's not talk about that year anymore. All right, so I guess let's move on to the best segment of the show, right? Heidi's Heroes.
Okay, this week's hero is Alec Ingold. Why? Because he was the Raiders nominee for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award presented by Nationwide. This award is presented to an NFL player for outstanding community service activities off the field, as well as excellence on the field. And let me tell you, Alec exemplifies those characteristics. I'm going to read a little bit off of Raiders.com because it's amazing everything that this guy has done just in this past year. Ingold this year took on an initiative that was very personal. He was adopted at birth and committed to help spread awareness about the need for foster and adoptive families. He will be involved with several campaigns, including Adoption Month and a Las Vegas television station series which features local children seeking fostering or adoption. He is also working with the Clark County Department of Family Services on social media postings to raise awareness for their foster and adoption programs. Ingold utilized the power of social media to institute a motivational series titled Mindset Monday on Instagram. Posts supported by video included Run Your Race, take ownership of where you're headed in life. In another, he noted, believe in your vision, be different. Ingold also posted, maximize your impact on the people around you. Everyone has a legacy. What will yours be? Prior to Election Day, Ingold led a call to encourage voting, participating in a Get Out and Vote campaign that included being part of a public service announcement. In early October, Ingold joined Special Olympics athletes from Nevada and California as they participated in virtual fall sports and fitness, a 7-week training program similar to their in-person sports season, but conducted from the safety of their homes. A few weeks later, Ingold led Special Olympics through drills during a virtual flag football minicamp. In November, he participated in a virtual film breakdown with Las Vegas Centennial High School running backs as part of the Raiders Elite Academy series and offered advice and encouragement to student athletes. While training this summer, Ingold, who was a 3-time academic All-Big Ten honoree, as a personal finance major at Wisconsin, he discussed personal finances with Las Vegas high school students from the UNLV Young Executive Scholars Hospitality and Tourism program. In addition to stressing the importance of managing finances, Ingold, who is pursuing an MBA from the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University, addressed topics that included goal setting, prioritizing, work discipline, and teamwork. Ingold spearheaded a fundraising activity to support the 3 Square Food Bank's Coronavirus Emergency Fund, which resulted in over 31,000 healthy meals going directly to vulnerable Las Vegas populations such as children, seniors, veterans, and furloughed workers. At the onset of the pandemic, when many began to quarantine, Ingold recorded a Raiders Fit workout video that was posted online to promote physical and mental health. And you know what? It just goes on and on and on. It's amazing what this man has done. And he did it his rookie year as well.
As an undrafted free agent.
Yep, undrafted free agent out of Wisconsin. He just gives and gives, not only in his personal life, but definitely on the field as well.
And you know what? Speaking of on the field, I love how he'll smash you in the face or jump over you. That guy's a great athlete. He's a great human being. He's got a big heart. He's doing great things on the field and off the field.
If there was one guy on the Raiders who I'd love to have come on the podcast, that's the guy.
He's a Gruden grinder for sure. And he's definitely a good hero for this week. I was amazed researching everything that he's been involved with. I don't know how he has time for football.
Alec Ingold, I salute you.
Yes, we do. You're my hero. Thanks again to our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast.
All right, Raider Nation, here's an important number for you because you could win a free personalized Raider jersey. Give us a call, 904-701-8667. Leave a voicemail or send a text message to that number. You can also reach us by emailing us at onlynationpod@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. Search for us on Facebook and YouTube. Just search the Only Nation Podcast.
Be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite social media account and podcasting app. Make sure to leave your name, address, and phone number. Do that, and we'll register you for a personalized Raiders jersey that we're giving away next week. Good luck, and remember, the more you share, the more chances you have to win. 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Call us now and join the Only Nation podcast family.
Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
I don't care what the score is Thursday night as long as it's a win, baby.